covering news that matters. Fox 23 News at 5:30 starts right now.
Well done, Jana, because, when I brought this, I'm like, here's the investigative report. Here's the minute mark where she talks about this. And they're like, oh, because I was able to drive them right to the point, and your reporting is clean and concise. And so I appreciate that. It made the job an easier lift.
Thanks for joining us at 5:30. I'm Shay Razi.
And I'm Nathan Thompson. Tulsa's investigative reporter Jana Clark uncovered a loophole in DHS daycare online system. It's about providing transparency to parents. Because of her Fox 23 investigation, a new bill is now moving through the State House.
It all started after a toddler wandered away from a Broken Arrow daycare last spring. It happened at the ATA Creative Learning Academy near Kenosha and Elm. Now, Jana has this important update.
This is the building that used to be a daycare. A 2-year-old named Waylon escaped from that gate over there. Then he wandered all over this parking lot and toward the street. DHS investigated and said it did happen. But when you try to look up that information on the daycare website, you can't find it about this daycare or any daycare that's closed. Look at this surveillance video. It shows 2-year-old Waylon after he escaped from his daycare, the ATA Creative Learning Academy in Broken Arrow. He wanders around the parking lot and ends up by the street. Do you remember what you thought at the time?
I was like, what in the world? That's crazy. I trusted them.
Last spring, his mom, Ashley Miller, told me 2 utility workers found Waylon before he got hurt. They paid attention.
Yeah, they paid attention. Without them there at that time, I don't know what I would have done.
What did you think when you saw him?
I just started looking for the parent. I thought surely a 2-year-old's not going to be out here alone.
Christopher King and Josue Flores told me they spotted Waylon by this industrial road just off Kenosha and Elm.
I came to him, put my hand out to him, and gave me his hand.
You can see Christopher in this video and then Josue holding Waylon's hand as they walk toward the daycare. They take Waylon to the front door and Waylon goes inside.
I'm very thankful by the grace of God that he's still here. Without them taking notice and stopping what they were doing for the day and taking my son back, we don't know where he would have been, So I just want to thank them a lot.
You see Christopher and Josue park their truck next door, and that's when they reported it to DHS. You felt like just returning him wasn't good enough?
No. My biggest concern was making sure that the parents found out exactly what happened.
For me, that was negligence. They have to be held accountable for it.
DHS did investigate. Here's the DHS Child Welfare Investigative Summary that found the allegations were true. It says with allegations of neglect and supervision to a minor child at a daycare, and it's marked substantiated. Typically, parents can find that information on this DHS website, Child Care Locator, but not in this case. Why? Because the owner, Denise Littlejohn, changed her license status to inactive. That meant she couldn't run a daycare.
I saw the Fox 23 news story that highlighted the child care center that had the child wander away, the report that you did, Jana, and I thought, we can help with this.
State Representative Melissa Provenzano's fix to write a bill to change the law. When you saw the story, what troubled you about it?
Well, I think I saw good intentions all around, by the workers who found the little boy and then who brought him back. And then they wanted to make sure that the process was followed for when something like this happens, and alerting DHS. And then DHS followed up and did the investigation. And we need to know the outcomes of things like that.
She says House Bill 1390 closes the loophole, even when a daycare closes, or if the owners make their license status inactive, the results from the DHS investigations would stay on the website. The bill says the report shall remain available in a manner that is accessible to the public, regardless of whether the facility's owner's or operator's license is active or inactive. So if parents want to search for it, they can find it.
I had my own children in daycare when I returned to work when they were little, and there is no parent that should not be able to, if they want to find out what's going on with the daycare. Because sometimes, and I can't say in this situation, but sometimes an employee will leave one facility and go work for another facility, and we need to know how this turned out.
I checked, and since the ATA Creative Learning Academy closed, Denise opened a new home daycare, but you can't find anything about her old daycare. I was calling about the little boy that was found outside your daycare. After Waylon walked away from the daycare, I called Denise. When I asked for an interview, she said no and texted, "I don't have any additional information or details to provide to you in regards to my side of the story." I asked her attorney about Denise placing her license on inactive status. He wrote, "Denise Littlejohn didn't decide to close her small business that she took immense pride in running. She didn't have a choice after the news story aired, and the mother of the child involved in that story campaigned so actively against her. All of that resulted in a significant number of parents unenrolling their children in her program, which forced her to close."
I just want other parents to just have their eyes open a little bit more.
We should be able to connect the dots and, how can a parent advocate for themselves if they don't have all the information? And hopefully this will be the next step in doing that.
Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, we'll open the queue for a vote.
The bill passed unanimously in an oversight committee.
Having 12 yeas and 0 nays, we'll report your bill out as a do pass. Thank you.
Then it went to the House.
You can please recognize Representative Provenzano to explain House Bill 1390.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for adoption. Yield 2 questions.
Where did this bill come from? Who's the support behind it, please?
And this is actually a situation that happened in the Tulsa area at a child care facility. I did send the link earlier today to the news article or the news link that highlighted that we were not able to access these reports further.
Declare the vote.
It just passed the House.
83 aye, 13 nay.
Declare the bill to have passed.
Now it's headed to the Senate floor for a vote. What do you think the chances are of this one actually making it through?
It's a transparency issue, and in the state of Oklahoma, transparency is important and parent access is important. This costs nothing. It's a simple fix on a website, and that parents can now have the access that they need. And so I feel like the chances are really good.
The daycare appealed about the neglect and supervision allegation. I found out DHS just upheld its decision and substantiated the allegation. I also checked Denise Littlejohn's current home daycare, and right now it shows no problems. In Broken Arrow, covering news that matters, Jana Clark, Fox 23 News.
And we also told you about another allegation about that daycare, that staff members were giving kids melatonin gummies to sleep.
Now, at first, DHS substantiated that allegation, calling it neglect and threat of harm. After the daycare appealed, DHS overturned it, but would not explain to us why.
We reached out to a state representative who voted against this bill. Gabe Woolley said he's concerned because the bill could give DHS too much power, which could hurt the daycare's reputation without the owner having a chance for due process.
Do you have a tip or issue that you think Jana Clark should investigate? Let us know. Email FOX23 Investigates at fox23.com or call 918-388-5354 or search Fox 23 Jana Clark on Facebook.